Donald Trump, now the president-elect. And across the country, parents with big questions about what to say to their kids, how to deal with those tough talks with your family coming up. And it's not so much that Donald Trump won. He won fair and square. It was the language and the tactics that were used during the campaign, or as he called it, the movement, that some parents are having a tough time in explaining to their children.
We'll get them some good advice coming up. Also, Donald's own family supporting him down to the wire. Of course, the person he thanked front and center, his wife, Melania. There you've got one of the future First Lady.
I do, George. For the most part, you know, Melania Trump has kept a low profile on the campaign trail. Now, though, she is poised to become only the second First Lady ever born in a different country. ABC's Mara Schiavocampo is here with a closer look at just who Melania Trump really is. Good morning, Mara.
Lara, good morning. In a really remarkable personal story, Melania Trump grew up in a formerly communist country and said as a girl she was inspired by the election of Ronald Reagan. Well, now her own husband will become president, and the nation is getting to know their next First Lady. Melania Trump, decked in white, taking a late-night victory lap with her husband, Donald. The 46-year-old Slovenian immigrant, now the first foreign-born First Lady since John Adams' wife, Luisa. Melania's road to the White House anything but conventional. She met Trump in 1998 when she was modeling in New York, the couple marrying in 2005 and welcoming son Barron a year later. Melania telling ABC News he was the reason she was largely absent from the campaign trail.
My priority is my son Barron, our son Barron, and I support him 100%.
In July, she was greeted warmly as she took the stage at the Republican National Convention. But her words widely criticized for bearing striking resemblance to Michelle Obama's 2008 DNC speech.
You work hard for what you want in life. That your word is your bond, that you do what you say you're going to do.
That your word is your bond, and you do what you say.
After that, Melania kept a lower profile, but just last week hit the battleground state of Pennsylvania to campaign for her husband, showing voters her more personal side.
I'm an immigrant, and let me tell you, no one values the freedom and opportunity of America more than me.
Melania revealing one of her biggest platforms as First Lady will be combating cyberbullying.
We have to find a better way to talk to each other.
In this 21st century, what's going on, it's very hurtful to children. To some adults as well, but we need to take care of children.
Hard to keep it away from your kids.
It is, but we need to teach them how to use it, what is right to say, what is not right to say, and because it's very bad out there, and children get hurt.
And speaking of social media, Melania said she does give her husband advice on his Twitter posts. She said she also wants to focus on women and children's issues as First Lady. And Lara, Melania Trump says she's never been to the White House, but of course that's all going to change.
That is all about to change. Thank you so much, Mara. And I know she said women and children, also cyberbullying. I want to ask you, Koki, what do you expect Melania will step up and support?
First of all, it's going to take her some time. She's never been in this position. It's going to be very hard. It was hard for Michelle Obama, having never been First Lady of a state. And it takes some time to just figure out what your voice is and what are the issues where you can make a difference. She does have a young child. We saw poor Barron Trump in the middle of the night last night, clearly having been gotten out of bed to come see this moment. But she has said this cyberbullying is something she's going to take on, which would be useful. She could start with her husband. But she also, when she says women and children's issues, there are lots of those that she can certainly take up. Michelle Obama has said that it will be her life's work for the rest of her life to promote Let Girls Learn, which is keeping girls in school around the world. She and Laura Bush have worked together on lots of issues involving women and children. Maybe Melania Trump will be able to fall into that groove, but it will take her some time.
And we did not see a lot of her on the campaign trail. You mentioned it will take her time to find her footing. Will she be allowed to have that time to sort of figure out what kind of a First Lady she wants to be?
Sure. You know, she has a little child. That helps. It gives her an excuse to stay home. And he will have to adjust to a very new life. But she's wiser to take some time rather than just jump into something. And, you know, you talked about Louisa Adams being foreign-born. She was the daughter of the American consul in London.
She was a little experience.
Well, she was, and then her husband was in Congress and in the State Department, Secretary of State before she went to the White House. So she was not anywhere near as foreign to America as Melania Trump is. Yeah.
But as you pointed out, I mean, Michelle Obama, she came out in force towards the end of the two terms. But in the beginning of the presidency, she kind of cocooned.
She did.
In that White House.
She did. And part of it was she had gotten a lot of heat during the campaign. And I think that was very difficult for her. And so she took her time. She did have very young children. And she took her time to figure out where she could really make a difference. And she did consult with other people, including Laura Bush, about where she could be useful. And I think that it would be wise of Melania Trump to do the same thing.
And she probably will, because she has talked about how she respects
and admires.
Admires her. So I'm sure that she will reach out, and Michelle would be very gracious.
Of course she would be, totally.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, here we are now. You know, he is the president-elect. And now it is time, you know, even though it's going to be very, very difficult in this very divided nation. But there will be moments that make a difference, and one of them will be when they first go to the White House and meet with the President and First Lady.
I was struck by something you were saying in these recent days when it was thought that Hillary Clinton was going to win, and you said that she will be able to step up and bring the nation together. Donald Trump's victory speech was very much what people needed to hear.
Absolutely.
And their hopes that will be a tone that he will maintain.
But now he needs to take some symbolic actions and then some real ones. So I think symbolically, Stephanie Cutter was saying earlier, and she and I had talked about it, he should invite Khizr Khan to his house and meet with him, the Gold Star family, and talk about the importance of their son and apologize actually for the things he said. And he should certainly spend some time in the African American community. He needs to take some steps to show that he really meant what he said last night, and then he has to have some policies that show
the victory speech is a step.
Right.
It really is.
Instead of what happened, it's what's next.
Right.
And
Let's look forward.
President Obama will be a key meeting. Koki, thanks very much.